Welcome and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Commencement. Autopsies have been completed in the death of two men. Detectives on St. Croix said additional investigation is needed to conclusively determine the cause of deaths in the case of Kassaun Baptiste and Jose Navarro. The pair was found dead in their home on Wednesday.
On Tuesday, May 7th, major crime detectives confirmed that an autopsy had been performed on Monday on both bodies. However, a definite conclusion could not be reached at this time. The detective said in this particular situation, this is a combined investigation between the pathologist and the Virgin Islands Police Department. He said it would be unprofessional of the department to make a premature announcement or release partial information. The detective said, "We have more work to be done in this case before it is concluded." Major crime detectives did confirm that the men had been dead from at least Friday, April 26th. Detectives are actively investigating this case.
A 25-year-old fugitive on St. Thomas has been apprehended by the VI Police Department. The suspect, Cameron Jerome Broadbelt, was caught by authorities on Saturday afternoon and detained at the Sierra Lee King Airport. Broadbelt, a Florida native, wanted on armed robbery charges in Gwinnett County, Georgia. The warrant issued for his arrest stated that on October 10th, 2012, the suspect brandished a weapon and stole 35 T-Mobile cell phones and $300 cash. VI police have been in contact with the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Department and have begun the extradition process for the suspect. Broadbelt is being held without bail pending extradition. Crime Stoppers remind you that their technology makes it impossible for anyone to find out who submitted a tip. To learn how to do this, you can visit www.crimestoppersusvi.org and click on how it works. Meanwhile, here's this week's Crime Stoppers report. On St. Croix, as we just reported, police still need your help in this case. On Wednesday, May 1st, police responded to a report of foul odor coming from a residence in Estate Wim. After gaining entrance to the home, police found the lifeless bodies of Mr. Kassaun K. Force Baptiste and Mr. Jose the Mighty TNL Navarro. Police suspect the men had been dead for about 1 week. If you know something you think police should know, please speak up. Over on St. John on April 18th at 3:45 a.m., a woman reported to police that a male had entered her residence in the Upper Cruz Bay area while she and her boyfriend were sleeping. The man stole several items from the residence, including a wallet and money. When discovered, he fled on foot towards the Islandia building. Tell police what you know. On St. Thomas, on April 29th at 11 a.m., a man in the area of Estate Tutu was shot at by an unknown individual. The man was wounded by gunfire. VIPD is seeking your help in identifying the shooter. Be part of the solution. Continue to help to make our islands a safer place to live and visit by telling police what you know about these or any other crimes. You can log on to www.crimestoppersusvi.org or you can call 1-800-222-TIPS. You can also text USVI plus your message to crimes 274-637. Remember, if your tip leads to an arrest or the recovery of stolen property, illegal drugs, or weapons, you will receive a cash reward to be paid according to your instructions. The minimum cash reward for the arrest of a burglar is $714 plus 10% of the retail value of property recovered. For an assailant involved in a shooting, it is $900. The maximum reward is $2,500. The third week of May is celebrated as National Police Week, and the Virgin Islands Police Department have some events lined up in both districts, beginning with the St. Thomas-St. John schedule. Events kick off Sunday, May 12th, with a church service at St. Andrews beginning at 8:30 a.m., and that's followed by a brunch at the Alexander Farrelly Courtyard at 11:30, and then visits to grave sites of fallen soldiers will begin at 1 p.m. Monday will serve as an open house. School visits will take place Tuesday and Wednesday, while a vigil will also be held Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at the Farrelly Courtyard. Meanwhile, on St. Croix, events kick off on Saturday, May 11th, with a law ride-out and fair. Sunday will also feature a church service at 8 a.m. Monday and Tuesday will be open house days for the command centers. Then a motorcade will take place at 8 a.m. Wednesday at the Christiansted Cemetery, followed by a peace officer memorial. All events are posted on the VIPD's Facebook page. This week has been proclaimed by Governor John P. DeYoung Jr. as Correctional Officers and Employees Week. DeYoung issued a release Tuesday morning encouraging Virgin Islanders to join him in honoring our correctional officers and staff at all facilities and to offer sincere thanks and appreciation for their services and dedication. DeYoung stated correctional staff work entails an enormous amount of responsibility to maintain public safety and order, as well as to help inmates develop the skills necessary to become productive members of society. He thanked the VI Bureau of Corrections and staff at Golden Grove Correctional Facility on St. Croix, the facilities at the Farrelly Center and Alva Swan Annex on St. Thomas. On Tuesday, Health Commissioner Doris Plaskett said the department's Emergency Medical Services, or EMS, is in the process of working to realign as a training site to provide certification of basic and advanced life support courses in the St. Thomas-St. John district. Plaskett says the move follows the American Heart Association's termination of a long-standing agreement with the Department of Health. EMS recently applied for recertification as an American Heart Association International Training Center, but was denied in April. The deactivation means the DOH will put a temporary halt to training conducted by EMS training instructors and those associated with the EMS Training Center. The training site on St. Croix, however, is in alignment with a training center on mainland and continues its work without interruption. Well, the Office of Veterans Affairs says the main issue facing local veterans in the territory is still benefits, but a major part of that is a lack of understanding on what services are available to them. And that's why the office is inviting all veterans to attend next week's fairs. News 2's Erica Bivens has the story.
Office of Veterans Affairs Acting Director Harry Daniel says there's about 4,500 veterans in the territory, according to the 2010 census.
Looking at our statistics more, we believe there are more veterans in the territory that we have not captured.
And according to Daniel, one of the main challenges still facing veterans here in the territory is benefits.
Federal programs that are coming out of Puerto Rico are basically on a once-a-month procedure right now, and we're trying to really see if we can increase that to more than once a month so that a veteran doesn't have to wait real long for any answers to whether it's a claim or maybe to get some questions answered pertaining to benefits.
Of course, the other issue is getting to know who our veterans are, in addition to educating them about services available to them. And it's one of the reasons the office is hosting 2 Veterans Fairs next week.
One on St. Thomas on May 14th at the Veterans Park, Roosevelt Park, from 10 to 3. The other one is going to be on St. Croix on May 16th from 10 to 3. And it's going to be at the Veterans Affairs Complex at Estate Richmond.
Counselors will be on hand to discuss federal and local services available to veterans, and they'll also be issuing ID cards.
And again, these ID cards are for basically local benefits. There are veterans out there that doesn't have anything to show that they're a veteran, so we encourage them to come and get one of our ID cards. And again, they can use that for local benefits. They can, any store that they can go locally, they say they want a veterans discount. Well, they can produce that card and say, well, okay, I'm a veteran, here's my ID card.
If you're planning on getting an ID card at the fair, Daniel says to bring documents with you that prove you're a veteran. You can also visit the Office of Veterans Affairs in your district.
Veterans and the family members, please come out to these events. Please come out so that we can know they're there. We can make sure that their services are being rendered that they're due.
For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
Daniel encourages all veterans to attend Wednesday's Senate session on St. Thomas. The Health, Hospital, and Human Services Committee will be receiving testimony regarding programs and services for local veterans. That hearing begins at 9 a.m. VI Tourism Commissioner Beverly Nicholson Doty testified before the Energy Commerce Subcommittee Tuesday. The hearing was entitled Vacation Nation: How Tourism Benefits Our Economy. Commissioner Nicholson Doty spoke in favor of President Obama's federal initiatives, but she also addressed the reasons why airlift to the territory is critical, especially in our current economy.
In the U.S. Virgin Islands, the tourism industry is now even more critical since the closing of the Hovensa oil refinery on St. Croix. This event caused the loss of thousands of jobs, with an estimated 20% impact on our economy. In addition, the extremely high cost of energy in the U.S. Virgin Islands places enormous pressure on the tourism industry's bottom line.
Meanwhile, tourism numbers are in for the month of November, and according to the Bureau of Economic Research, these numbers showed some mixed results. Continuing the trend for 2012, the territory saw a decrease in amount of cruise ship passengers that visited compared to November 2011. The St. Thomas-St. John district saw its numbers fall 8.5%, whereas St. Croix saw its numbers fall a whopping 13.4%. There was some increase of visitors to the territory in the air travelers category. St. Thomas-St. John saw an 8.9% increase when compared to November of 2011. St. Croix saw a 14.2% decrease. Hotel occupancy remained level with the previous year, averaging 48.1%. Tax revenues were up 27%, which officials say can likely be attributed to the rise in the hotel occupancy tax. Well, a new Pentagon report shows sexual assaults in the military are on the rise. The study comes as an Air Force officer who led a sexual assault prevention unit faces charges for groping a woman. We get more from Daniel Nottingham on Capitol Hill.
Lawmakers are outraged an Air Force officer whose job it was to prevent sexual assault now faces sexual assault charges.
The best and the brightest the Air Force has to offer to run this office, and he's a sexual predator?
Police in Arlington, Virginia arrested Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Krasinski after accusations he groped a woman in a parking lot Sunday. The 41-year-old Air Force veteran was in charge of the Air Force's Sexual Assault Prevention and Response Unit.
We're all outraged and disgusted over these very troubling allegations.
Here on Capitol Hill, lawmakers are seeing a troubling trend. The Pentagon released a report Tuesday showing sexual assaults in the military on the rise, with as many as 26,000 claims last year alone. The vast majority of those go unreported. Senators Patty Murray and Kelly Ayotte have introduced legislation to try and help the victims.
We do our military and our service members little good if we ignore this problem.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel has ordered a series of changes to clean up the military culture.
We're all going to be held accountable at every level of command.
The commander-in-chief says he has no tolerance for sexual assault in the military.
We have to do everything we can to root this out.
The president says he spoke with Hagel about making sure the perpetrators of sexual assault are held accountable. On Capitol Hill, Danielle Nottingham, CBS 2 News.
And keeping our eye on the economy, employers posted fewer job openings in March compared to February as hiring slowed. The Labor Department says job openings fell 1.4% to 3.8 million jobs. There were 3.1 unemployed people on average for each opening. Home prices rose the most in 7 years in March. The data provider CarLogic says prices rose 10.5% compared to the same time a year ago. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's stock market wash. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 87, Nasdaq 3, S&P 8. Coming up on News 2, 3 women have been found after being missing for about a decade in Cleveland, and 3 brothers are now behind bars. The chilling story coming up next. The Friends of the St. Croix East End Marine Park at Good Spirits would like to invite you to join them tomorrow, Wednesday, May 8th at 11 a.m. to learn about watersheds and how you can keep healthy with Carol Kramer-Burke from the St. Croix Environmental Association. They are also planning the Cotton Valley Beach cleanup that will take place Saturday, May 18th at 9 a.m. The meeting place is at the driveway to the Blue Water Terrace. Gloves, bags, and water will be provided, along with famous fried chicken from Blue Water Terrace. All private and parochial schools on St. Croix are being asked to provide a listing of all students requiring school bus transportation for the upcoming 2013-2014 school year. The information should be submitted to the Office of the District's Insular Superintendent no later than May 17, 2013. Department of Education officials say this information is necessary at this time because planning, consolidating, and scheduling of bus routes and bus stops have to be finalized before summer break begins. A full listing of bus stops used by public schools is currently posted on the department's website. Students should use the stop closest to their residence. The Department of Education is responsible for and covers the cost of bus transportation for all students to and from the designated bus stops and schools. Current and prospective students are reminded that summer classes are coming up at UVI, and now is the time to register. Registration is ongoing for summer session 1 and 2. The session runs from May 13th to June 17th. The deadline for online registration for the first summer session is on May 12th. On-site registration will be held from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on May 13th. Summer session 2 runs from June 20th to July 26th. UVI professors remind you that summer courses are great for those who want to enhance their education, retool their skills for a career change, or start a degree program. Well, in other news, more than 340 degrees are expected to be handed out at the 49th commencement ceremonies on May 11th and 12th on the St. Thomas campus and the Albert A. Sheen campus on St. Croix. On Saturday, May 12th, it's at the Sports and Fitness Center on the St. Thomas campus. On Sunday, May 13th, 4:30 on the grounds of the Albert Sheen campus. The class speaker on the St. Thomas campus will be Linda Ritter. The class speaker on the Albert Sheen campus will be Charnel Burton, former U.S. Congressman, chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, and president of the NAACP. Kwesi Mfume will be UVI's 2013 commencement keynote speaker. Well, 3 women have been found after being missing for about a decade, and 3 brothers are now behind bars. Suzanne McGinnis has this.
FBI investigators worked through the night searching this Cleveland home where 3 women were allegedly held hostage for about a decade.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
26-year-old Amanda Berry, missing since 2003, escaped from the house early Monday evening and called 911.
I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now.
Charles Ramsey heard Berry's cries for help and kicked in the door to set her free.
She climbed out with her daughter. She went to my house. We called 911.
Also inside, Gina DeJesus, who was 14 when she went missing, and Michelle Knight, who disappeared in 2002 at the age of 20. All 3 were rushed to the hospital where their families were waiting for them.
She knew who we were, and she knew we were looking for her all this time.
Amanda Berry's sister met her 6-year-old niece for the first time.
She was just telling me that she's okay, and she's got a daughter.
Outside, crowds joined with the hospital staff to celebrate.
We love you, Amanda!
This is really good because this isn't the ending we usually hear to these stories.
Police say the women had likely been tied up during their years of captivity.
Remember, this is over a 10-year period, so we have a lot of investigative work to do.
The 52-year-old homeowner and 2 of his brothers are now behind bars. Authorities plan to file charges in the next few days.
An uncle confirms to the Associated Press that Ariel Castro is the 52-year-old homeowner arrested Monday night. Castro is a former school bus driver for the Cleveland School District. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.